It's very clear that Harry is still trying to compete with his brother. And it's very sad that he is using, obviously, Diana's memory to do so. He did, in fact, say that Prince William and Harry said this would be the last time. And I think I said last time we spoke, Dan, that I have never heard as much about Diana as what I have since Harry started dating Meghan, really.
Breaking right now, Prince Harry's tour of the US, sullying his mother, Princess Diana's memory, is about to continue in New York. Details announced today of the fact that the Princess Diana Award will head stateside, but without Prince William, because there had been suggestions that he might be in New York at the same time. That isn't the case, but the Diana Award posted on X, in our 25th year, the Diana Award is delighted to be leading an event with Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, in New York this September. The event will be driven by young people and their insights on the biggest issues facing their generation today. Richard Palmer, the royal reporter, added Prince Harry and Prince William remain committed supporters of the Diana Award, the youth charity set up in memory of their mother, but it hasn't managed to bring them together in the same room since their rift. That resulted in the royal YouTube sensation, according to Taz, to respond, "Why would it? When Harry hasn't stopped attacking his brother publicly, he's insulted Catherine, brought their children into it, saying he's concerned for their futures. I do not think there is anything that will unite the two brothers now." And I am delighted to say that, according to Taz, otherwise known as Tasha Canal, joins me now. Taz, goodness me, what do you make of the fact that Harry is now trying to, I guess, ingratiate himself further with the Americans who are turning off him by taking the Diana Awards to New York?
I think it's entirely predictable. I think me myself personally, I'm not surprised by this news at all, his timing of it, especially because of what happened the last time we saw the Diana Awards, where Prince Harry was apparently dialing in from a ski lodge. He was apparently skiing with the Kardashians at the time, or one of those family members, and they deliberately tried to overshadow Prince William's speech at the Diana Awards, where they not only announced one of their new awards for Archwell and the winner, despite filming it a week beforehand when Meghan was at South by Southwest, but then Meghan obviously and famously now, infamously more like, she launched Aro. So to hear this news that he is again trying to, I suppose, make sure that everybody sees the Diana Awards as Harry's thing now, I think, yes, as I said, it didn't shock me or surprise me at all.
Because the thing that is so sad and egregious about this is that William has tried to be incredibly sensitive and restrained in terms of using his mother's memory. Of course, he made an agreement with Harry on the 20th anniversary of her death that they would no longer continue to speak about her publicly, especially around the circumstances to do with her death. And that was all because they had agreed to move on. But as soon as Harry became unpopular, it seems that he invokes his mother's memory at every opportunity. So unfortunately, I feel that's only going to go up a gear in New York next month.
Yes, he does. It's one of his cards that he pulls out. He has to remind everybody that he is Diana's son. And obviously, no one's going to forget it, but I think Harry relies on it that some people, and some do still see him as that 12-year-old little boy walking behind his mother's coffin. But Prince William was obviously alongside him. It's very clear that Harry is still trying to compete with his brother. And it's very sad that he is using, obviously, Diana's memory to do so. He did, in fact, say that Prince William and Harry said this would be the last time. And I think I said last time we spoke, Dan, that I have never heard as much about Diana as what I have since Harry started dating Meghan, really. I don't know how much she encourages him to talk about his mother or how much of it is just him doing it by himself. But it seems to be continuous. and he's not letting up.
No, totally. And the thing is that I really feel sorry for William when it comes to the Diana Awards, because you've got to admit, Taz, he's between a rock and a hard place. If
Mm.
he leaves the organisation, he will be criticised for that because it's obviously connected to his mother's memory. But he doesn't want anything to do with Harry, so they are sort of awkwardly shuffling along, both agreeing to organise events, but not actually being able to do it together. And I just think it's a really difficult position that William has been put in.
I think he's done that entirely on purpose, Dan. I think he's made it so William is not going to go to it. Obviously he wants nothing to do with his brother, and who can blame him at this point with all the continuous attacks that he's done and the swipes. But Harry's played it in such a way to almost, it's to paint him look like that he's the one that's still honouring his mother's legacy, but William's being petty because he's not going to attend the Diana Awards. When you actually think of what happened, as I said, with the last Diana Awards, I believe it was in March of this year, where Harry made sure that he dialed in later on. And, they did everything, both he and Meghan, to try and detract away from Prince William being there. And his speech, I believe the launch of Aro was within hours before, if not minutes before, Prince William actually gave his speech honouring all of the people, all of the recipients of the award. They cannot help themselves. And as I said, it shows where Harry's priorities are. If he really cared about the Diana Awards so much, then he wouldn't have done what he did that time. And now I can't help but feel that Harry is behind the dates chosen to do this, because, as you said, Prince William is due in New York, I believe, the 24th of September for oh gosh, my brain's gone then.
Oh, the
The
Earthshot.
Earthshot. I knew I said the Invictus then. But yes, the Earthshot Prize, the summit, which is the prelude to obviously the big awards in November in South Africa. And I just can't help but feel that Harry has timed this, knowing that his brother wouldn't attend it, and then Harry gets to look like the good brother and Prince William's the petty, mean one.
And isn't it awful? Because even if William were able to go, and let's be honest, that's pretty difficult at the moment given what Catherine's going through and the fact that he's taken on a lot of extra parenting responsibilities, as well as still trying to continue his full-time royal work. But isn't it awful that Harry has actually made it impossible for William to go to this Earthshot event now? Because there's no way he will do that, Taz. He knows that if William and Harry are in, William knows, that if he and Harry are in New York at the same time, it all of a sudden turns into media hysteria and lots of competition between the two. And William just will not do that. But Harry, by choosing these dates, has actually made it impossible for his brother to be at his own Earthshot summit, even if he could be there.
See, I'm not so sure on that personally, because I think there's no way that William will allow his childish younger brother's silly little antics to damage anything that he's worked so hard for. The Earthshot Prize is recognised globally. People from all around the world are investing millions. I mean, it's making a real change and doing good things for the world, for the environment. If Harry wants to turn up and pretend that he's going to get the attention, then I say bring it on and let him do that. I do believe you're right. Obviously, with Catherine, we still don't obviously know if, how her cancer treatment's going. The fact that we saw her recently, it's all obviously looking like it's all good news, of course. But if Prince William doesn't go, I think it would be purely down to just staying with the children and Catherine. I don't think it would have anything to do with Harry. They're not playing the same game. They're not in the same league. I mean, I honestly don't think that even New Yorkers were bat an eyelid that Harry's going. In compared to Prince William, you see the crowds that turn out for Prince William. I think many New Yorkers will quite happily go and wave and hope to meet him and shake his hand, whereas many people would not do that. I think Harry, don't think that he'd even get a small crowd of people outside.
No, and despite that, you earlier, Taz, made a great comparison between how William is so low-key when he visits New York and Harry turns the place upside down. Do you want to elaborate?
Yes, he does. I mean, you've got two incidents. You've obviously got the New York high-speed car chase, the near catastrophic event that I think most people, especially New Yorkers, know that you don't have a
Was
high
all
speed
made up.
you don't you don't have a high-speed car chase in New York, no matter
What an
what time of
idiot.
the day it was. I mean, that was
Oh,
ridiculous in itself. But
embarrassing.
then when they went back to New York, I think it was to do with their parenting network summit, something to do with mental health, to do with Archwell. They had a 7 car convoy. It was like a motorcade fit for the president and the first lady to take them 1 block. In comparison, when Prince William was last in New York, he went jogging around Central Park and nobody knew. I think he had one protection officer with him, low key. You wouldn't bat an eyelid, would you? You'd just see a couple of male joggers going round. Prince William doesn't court attention, and he certainly doesn't want that much security. And that's where, again, there's so many reasons why these two are just polar opposites of each other.
But first, you know what's so important about being independent is I only ever tell you about products that I use and believe will really improve your life. So that's why I am delighted today to talk about Verso. So let me tell you about my story in regards to this product. I entered my 40s, decided to get very healthy after a stressful year, exercising, trying to sleep better, all of that type of stuff, and doing the 16/8 fast as well. But I researched and found that scientists like David Sinclair have proven we can now reverse aging with interventions that go beyond healthy habits. So I was looking for a product that I knew would enhance everything I was already doing, but one that was backed up by really solid evidence. That product is Cellbeing by Verso. It's scientifically proven to include ingredients that fight the effects of aging by increasing NAD+ levels, which is the stuff that powers every cell in your body. I've been taking the product for a number of months. At the start of my day, it's been genuinely transformative. Fasting is easier. I've lost fat. I'm eating less too. And the team at Verso tell me that it's due to its blood sugar regulation effects, which lead to fewer cravings. It's also really helped my sleep. Verso publishes third-party testing from each batch produced, so you're guaranteed that you're getting exactly what you paid for, which is really important. And I'm delighted to say that because Verso is my first ever sponsor here on Outspoken, the brilliant deal continues today. If you head right now to buy.ver.so/outspoken, you will save 15% on your first order. All you need to do is use the coupon code Outspoken where you check out. The link is in our show notes on YouTube and Rumble, so you can click directly from there, or I'll spell it out for you, buy.ver.so/outspoken, and use the coupon code Outspoken. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. Absolutely. Harry actually wants to turn everything into some sort of big event. And what's also particularly embarrassing, as far as I'm concerned, Taz, is the way that when they announce these sorts of events for the Sussexes, they still talk as if they are working members of the royal family rather than two B-list celebrities. So this was the highfalutin, you might say, PR message that was put out by the Sussexes today. They said, during UN General Assembly High-Level Week and Climate Week in New York City, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, will be in town to advance a number of his patronages and philanthropic initiatives. He will participate in engagements with Africa Parks, the Halo Trust, the Diana Award, and Travelist. In addition, he will be furthering the work of the Archwell Foundation, the non-profit organisation he co-founded with his wife, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. More details will be shared as we approach the week of events. I mean, you're being celebs. Why are you releasing these itineraries and trying to talk like you're a politician, justifying that actually, we're doing lots of work, when you're not, because you don't even really raise much money now for Archwell. In fact, William and Catherine make more money in the US for their foundation than you do for Archwell.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it? The way they always with the word salads, they put the words out there and they just don't walk the walk. You know, nobody really knows what Travelist really does. That was another thing that got created. There was a big announcement for it. And
well, it certainly doesn't stop them. Isn't it meant to be about eco-friendly travel? And it doesn't stop them traveling private jets everywhere. So I'm sorry, Travelist is the most embarrassing project ever.
Of course. absolute hypocrisy, but we've come to expect no less from this couple. And then, as for the other things, you've got the Diana Awards, you've got Halo, which again, Harry, it's don't forget that I'm Diana's son. I'm the one that's pushing my mother's legacy. But what is he actually doing? What are they doing? Have you seen any fundraising for any of these charities and organizations? No. For Harry to be saying that he's going to continue, or rather his spokesperson puts a press announcement out, he's going to continue with his philanthropy, for his humanitarianism work. He's going to continue pushing Archwell. And what do they actually do? I mean, we've seen the last two trips that they've done to Nigeria and then, of course, to Colombia. They are using taxpayers' money from those countries to fund their lifestyle, their security whilst they're out there. So I really do struggle to see these initiatives that they talk about all the time, but what do they actually do?
Exactly. And what are they contributing? They promote themselves. That's what these trips are all about. And look, I think it's really important, Taz, that we talk about Africa Parks, because that has been mentioned in that press release. Well, what about the shocking allegations connected to Africa Parks involving sexual abuse and all sorts of terrible crimes that Harry hasn't addressed whatsoever, as far as I'm aware?
No, he hasn't. I honestly think this is another thing with Harry going to New York and some people saying that he's going to steal William's thunder. No, he won't. All Harry's going to do is draw attention to a big, huge story like this. Harry was sent a letter and a video from the Baka tribesmen. He was contacted directly where they were pleading and begging for help. Harry was originally a director, I believe, and now he's stepped down onto the board of directors. No, he was the president, wasn't he? I think he was in the position for a number of years. And then when this scandal came out, Harry looked like he was stepping down, but he wasn't. He wasn't. He was just going onto the board of directors. He's done absolutely nothing. And considering that they have spoken so much about they want to make the world a better place and to do good, he's still using his platform and his position and indeed his royal title to promote an organisation that, when you read about all of the accusations coming from a lot of Indigenous people, it's not just the Baka tribesmen, it's truly horrific. And Harry has not only stayed stum on the matter, he is still continuing to promote them. And that is truly, truly disgraceful.
It is. So do you think that they will have any more success in New York than Colombia or Nigeria? Or is this becoming a really embarrassing case of diminishing returns, especially, by the way, if Harry's going to show up without Meghan, which seems to be the plan at the moment?
I'll believe that when I see that one. I'm sure that she'll make an appearance. There's two charities to do with with Princess Diana and her legacy. So I would be quite surprised if Meghan didn't make a surprise appearance and fly in a day later so she gets her own little welcoming ceremony. But I honestly, like you said, that nobody is interested in them anymore. The only reason why some people like myself, I still talk about them, is because it's like watching a slow motion train wreck happen. And, you've got people, there are still a fan base that like them and think that they're doing good in the world. But then there's also a lot of people that watch them because they just cannot believe the constant PR disasters that they do. They really are the authors of their own demise. They do the most stupid things. They do the most ridiculous things. They say the most ridiculous things as well. And I've said before that South Park have got enough material to easily do another episode. I think they could do their own spin-off, really, of the Prince and Princess of Canada.
Yeah, indeed.
The things that they get up to, Dan, honestly.
That would be great. Well, look, I think it's an important point that you raise, because sometimes people say that to me too. Why do you talk about them? And I say, because people want the truth. And if I hadn't been reporting on this couple, Taz, for years and years and years, lots of this truth wouldn't have emerged. And I'm not the only one. There have been other good people who have exposed lots to do with him. But that's why, because otherwise the mainstream media now will just parrot their propaganda. And actually, my job, my responsibility is to make sure that the truth about this couple is out there. People can then make up their own minds about whether they want to engage with them or not. But I have to continue to bring the truth about my reporting in connection to them. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please do subscribe if you want lots more clips and interviews like that. Plus, if you want to watch our totally uncensored after show, then visit www.outspoken.live.